Have a look. From a very early age, it was myself and Matt Letizia at Southampton. He was very different. I had to do all his running and he took the penalties, which I wasn't too happy about, but he had such a good record I couldn't complain. I always felt the best partnerships are the ones you don't have to work at, that just click, that I know his game, he knows my game. I had that with a lot of mine, with Mike Newell, then Chris Sutton, Les Ferdinand. To the latter stages of my career, I had Craig Bellamy, Teddy Sheringham with England. So I've always felt the best ones are the ones where I've never had to work at. The only time we were allowed in the first team dressing room as apprentices was when you were cleaning it, and then if you were good enough to get in there and play. So we used to clean the dressing room and it had to be absolutely spotless. The boots had to be spotless, the toilets had to be spotless. They had to be shining, and if they weren't shining, we'd have to do every single job again. I remember one day when I was cleaning the boots up in the old boot room with all the other apprentices. There was Matt Letizia, Francis Benali. Boot room was above the medical room, and I accidentally left the tap on. Water was coming through into the medical room, and of course they got traced back, and it was me that left the tap on. As a punishment for that, freezing cold it was, I still remember it to this day, everyone 50 laps of the pitch, of the Dell. So because of my mistake, everyone, and you can imagine how popular that was with everyone. There was snow on the ground. As you can imagine, I wasn't flavour of the month, and I never ever left the tap on again, put it that way. But we had a great team spirit at Southampton. They used to go out after games and have a good time. There was a players' lounge right up until just before I retired. There was a players' lounge that you could go and have a couple of pints in after the game. I don't think there's any harm in that. In fact, I think quite the opposite. It'll work well for team spirit. The difference between when I started or when I finished is social media. It's difficult to do that without everyone knowing where you are and finding out. We finished fourth in our first season. I think we finished second in our second season. In our third season, we won the Premier League. For Blackburn to come in and take on the might of Liverpool and Man United and Arsenal and all these huge football clubs, for little old Blackburn. The first day I went in training. We had no training ground. As we did at Southampton, when I was a professional, we just took our kit off and put it in the middle of the floor for the kit man and take all the kit away. And I did the same in the dressing room at Blackburn. And all the players looked at me when I put my kit on the dressing room floor, and I thought, well, what are you looking at? And they said, well, we take our kit home, we've got to wash our kit. And I just thought, I was Britain's most expensive player then, and I thought, well, I'm a professional footballer and I used to do this when I was an apprentice. But that was the team spirit that we had at Blackburn. So, and as I said, we didn't have our own training ground. We used to turn up at 9 or 10 in the morning, and then we used to find a piece of grass somewhere in Blackburn and go and train on that piece of grass. Some magnificent players, brilliant captain in Tim Sherwood, Tim Flowers, Graham Lasso. We had a system, Wilcox, Ripley either side. They got balls in at every opportunity, which was food and drink for me and Mike Newell, or myself and Chris Sutton. I knew the ball was coming in, so it was a matter of me getting on the end of it. It was a fantastic team and a team spirit. At Newcastle, Ginola, Gillespie, myself and Les Ferdinand were in that first season. That was the way it played, the old-fashioned wingers who their only thought was to get the ball in the box, which was dreamland. It was tough at times in the early days with David, because I think He was this flamboyant Frenchman who had incredible ability, could go left or right. And I remember watching David playing for Newcastle whilst I was at Blackburn thinking, wow, imagine being on the end of some of his crosses, the number of goals he would score. But in my first month, I felt that he never really put as many balls in as he did the previous season, or I would have liked him to. So I went into the dressing room once after one game and sort of had it out with him. No uncertain words sort of said that to him. And I think that's what was needed then, because I don't know whether he felt threatened me coming in or not, I don't know, but after that it was we got on great after that, and there was balls coming in left, right and centre. And I think that season myself and Les Ferdinand got 49 goals between us, and I missed a couple of months with injury and he missed a couple of months with injury, so that sort of tells you how attacking that team was in terms of Beardsley, Ferdinand, Ginola, Asprilla and myself. It was a team that was designed to score goals. But Les had the number 9 shirt before I went in, so Kevin Keegan had asked him if he'd mind if I had it, because I knew the number 9 shirt was sort of the history of it and how symbolic it was here in Newcastle. So I wanted to wear that. I don't think he was happy giving it away, but he sort of did. There was nothing in terms of any hard feelings towards me. We got on great, and as I said, with the wingers that we had and the style of play that Newcastle had, both me and him in the box with all those balls coming in, it was a partnership for that one season we played together that worked incredibly well.
Is rivalry between strikers a definite thing?
Yeah, it has to be, because of the drive and the hunger for you to score more goals than anyone else. That's what a forward does. Jamie Vardy, without doubt, he'll go home and look where the Harry Kane scored, because he'll want to be the top goal scorer, he'll want the golden boot. But the guys at Liverpool now, when you've got Firmino and Mane and Salah, they'll want to score more goals than everyone, but in the end they're just helping the team. But you'd without doubt, yeah, there's a rivalry both with teammates and with your fellow competitors. Dressing rooms are great places to be when you're winning games. As you can imagine, a little bit more different when you haven't won. From when I started off in the first team dressing room at Southampton, where there were sometimes physical fights, it sort of calmed down a lot over the years, and by the time from Southampton to Newcastle there weren't any physical fights, and they're sort of talking and shouting and screaming rather than it getting physical. That's the change from, what was it, 88 when I started to when I finished in 2006.